Do you know about PCGS rattlers? Stay tuned to learn what they are, when they were made, and why they are the hottest thing in coin collecting right now. T. Hello, silver fans. This is T, and you're in the place to be for silver education, acquisition, and entertainment. And hey, if you're into coin collecting, this channel is silver stacking and much more. I have the privilege of interviewing some of the foremost experts in the world of numismatics. So if you're into coin collecting, be sure to subscribe. So guys, let's talk about these rattlers. I was at the American Numismatic Association World's Fair of Money not long ago, and boy, was I on the hunt for rattlers. I created a video based on that experience at that humongous coin show, and one of my viewers was intrigued. He wanted to learn a little bit more about the rattlers, even encouraged me to make a video about them. So hey, here we are. Let me show you these rattlers a little more up close and personal. As you saw earlier, they, true to the name, they do rattle. And see, here's an 1884 O, New Orleans. And let's take a look here. As you can see, it looks pretty primitive on the back here. These are created in the early days of PCGS. And here is an 1885 O at MS63. And there we go. Beautiful coin there. And one of the reasons that people have collected these over the years is because they think that back in the early days of coin grading, when these were made, that grading was a lot tougher way back then. And some people have a desire to actually, and have, cracked these out, resubmitted them for higher grades. And for example, this MS64 on this 1887 here. And so there we go. There are a few examples. I've got another one to open up in just a moment. But first, let me tell you why I like the Rattler so much. First of all, they are very close to the beginning of the dawn of third-party grading. Now, hey, as long as coin collecting has been a thing, and as long as there have been coin collectors and coin shops, there have been two guys arguing over a counter regarding what grade a coin ought to be. And at some point in time, somebody had the bright idea to create a coin grading service where a neutral third party would actually take a look and evaluate a coin and decide on a grade. And yeah, sure, you can go into the coin shop to this very day and find coins in flips that have little grades on them. But all of us who know anything about coin collecting know that, hey, that is very subjective and not an exact science. So why not leave it to the professionals at NGC or PCGS or Annex or any of the other grading companies? So the fact that these coins were graded so early on in that process, to me, it makes it pretty cool. Plus, they are vintage. I mean, these coins right here were put in these slabs, as what they're commonly called, these holders, after they were graded way back in the late 80s. So that makes them vintage. Very cool. And the final thing I'll mention is that I just love Morgan dollars. What's not to love about Morgan dollars? I can tell you, most of us hold them in high regards. They're probably one of the most highly collected coins on the planet, if not the most. And what a neat way to collect them. So as you can see, I only have 3 laid out here. I just recently made an eBay purchase. So, hey, you and I, the viewer, will be taking a look at this coin for the very first time together. Let's see what I got. And here we go. What kind of wrapping job? Not bad at all. This is a coin that I purchased on eBay recently for $89. So let's take a look at this old rattler. It's rattling already. I can hear it trying to come out. It's an 1882S, so hey, that's good. I've got 82, 84, 85, 87. It wasn't a repeat. Honestly, when I bought it, I saw it for $89, and I did not hesitate. I picked it up as quickly as I could, and boy, I was like a shark there just waiting at the end of that auction. I picked it up for $89, which based on what I recently learned at that coin show that I mentioned, hey, that was a pretty good price. And take a look at the visuals here. Certainly not a perfect coin, but a very cool coin nonetheless. So let's put that over here. We'll put these two together here and that there, so you have a nice visual of these rattlers. And you know, will I get more? I think so. Honestly, I think I'm kind of hooked. Part of that is that just the items that I mentioned earlier, but also that experience that I mentioned earlier about going to that coin show, that was by far the largest coin show I've ever attended in my entire life. It was literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dealers, maybe into the thousands of dealers, and they all had coins laid out in front of them to peruse and purchase. And as I was looking specifically for rattlers, I came across table after table after table, and dealer after dealer after dealer who had none left in stock. They had some of these holders of this style, which looks kind of similar, but there are some differences. As you can see, the size, let me put them, yep, the coin on the right, the holder, you'll notice, is a little bit bigger and a little wider, a little taller, just a little bit bigger. This is the size that is now the modern holder size for PCGS, although this was an earlier example. And I'll get to this one in just a minute. It's not a rattler. It doesn't rattle at all. And this one came along just a little bit later. But anyway, back to my story about the coin show. Let me show you a little snippet of that video. And the gentleman that I was speaking to in the snippet is named Matt. He is the owner of a coin shop down in Indianapolis, Indiana, on the east side, called the Lost Dutchman Rare Coins. It's a great shop. Either way, it was nice to run into him and be able to ask him some questions. Hey, he lives this stuff every day. Let's hear from Matt from the Lost Dutchman. I was here perusing your coins, and I was just asking about rattlers. And tell me about rattlers. Every display here I'm looking at, nobody has them.
Yeah, rattlers have been really, really popular lately. So slab collecting has really taken off in the last few years. People love those older generation holders, especially the first ones, which we call rattlers. And a lot of the times there's this notion that the coins in those holders are graded differently than they are nowadays. So people, some people think that if I buy a rattler, it's going to have a superior coin for the grade in it. So they've gotten popular, but also the fact that people just like the nostalgia of these original old holders from the 80s. So it's always fun to buy them. I love to buy them in the office. I love to buy them at coin shows. And if you've noticed my case, everyone we brought with us was sold. So they sell well as well.
That was one of the things I was looking for here. I was looking for some Libertads of a couple of particular years. I know those have gotten very popular over the last couple of years. And those rattlers, I've just fallen in love with them. But I'm, as you said, everybody else has too.
That's right. I know a lot of guys that love those holders. Whenever I get them, I have 4 or 5 guys that follow my website or follow our eBay, and they grab them as quick as I can list them. So
okay,
it's fun. I love to have them. I'm kind of I consider myself kind of a coin nerd as well. So I do find them. I find them interesting for the the historical aspect of slabbing and coin collecting kind of intermingled together.
Hey, that was pretty interesting, wasn't it? And I'll tell you, when I asked him about the price on these and what's the going rate, he mentioned about $140-ish was the going rate these days. And so that makes me feel pretty good about picking this baby up for only $89 on eBay. and I've seen a lot more on eBay. I do my best. You know, if you've watched my channel with any regularity, you know that I go to lots of coin shops. I'm constantly asking, this is one of the top things on my list. Hey, do you have any rattlers? And time after time after time, the answer is no. They may have this model that came a little bit later, but usually the answer is no. Sorry, we don't have any rattlers. So as I was doing my research for this video, I did come across a video made by a content creator on YouTube, Old Pueblo Coins, and down in the Southwest. And he turned me on to this really cool website. It's the PCGS Museum. And so I'll put the link to that in the video description. But before you get to that, let me just kind of give you a Cliff Notes version of what you'll see when you get there. It shows every PCGS holder from the very beginning. They started when they started, this wasn't Gen 1.0. They started with labels similar to this that were made like on an old dot matrix with perforated edges, but they were white, and they made those for only a short period of time. So I can tell you those are extremely collectible, highly prized. Forget about picking those up for $89 or $140. We're talking about hundreds, and in some cases thousands of dollars for those earliest versions of the PCGS holders. But not long after they were created, came along these old rattlers. So as you navigate that website and click the little right arrow and go on from version to version to version of the PCGS holders into all the way up until the blue versions and the more modern versions in the early 2000s and even up to the present, you will see very early on you can find these old rattlers. Now, there's also another term that floats around. It's called Old Green Holder, OGH. And I'm sure some of you collectors are familiar with that. Do me a favor, in the comments down below, you let me know, because I've seen rattlers that physically rattle referred to as old green holders. And I've also been in places where these, which were a little bit later generations, were referred to as old green holders. They do not rattle. And so you guys let me know which is the proper name for an old green holder. This model, the Rattler, which as we know, we call that a Rattler, or was it this model? Or could you use those words interchangeably, the old green holder for the Rattler? So you guys let me know down in the comments. So hey guys, before I sign off today, I want to thank those members of my channel members. Thank you very much. Hey, you guys are very helpful in contributing to my efforts to bring you the best content I possibly can, going to coin shows, going to coin shops, doing my best to educate you in a way that is pleasing and entertaining. And so thank you for your membership. And before I sign off, I'll tell you what, we will zoom in on these rattlers. And let me just ask you to click right here. This is that video that I mentioned. If you haven't checked it out yet, check out my video on the Chicago Coin Show, the A&A World's Fair of Money. You will not be disappointed. One of my best videos ever. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers.